It's the Ministry of Coal that can give, yeah.
We will be having a briefing from Ministry of Coal.
Purchase mechanism was one question asked. I will say it is again, it depends on factors like what is the conversion rate, etc., which is decided by the companies. मैंने आपको जब ब्रीफिंग में बता रही थी तो मैंने आपको कहा था कि हमारा फरवरी के महीने में जो एवरेज कंजम्पशन रहा है वो लगभग 77,000 के आसपास रहा है. सो मार्च सेकेंड एंड थर्ड का जो भी एवरेज रहा है दैट इज मोर देन व्हाट वाज इन फरवरी. So to give a comfort and also give an additional supplies, this decision has been taken.
So the first question was regarding the flights cancelled. So on an average, Indian carriers used to fly about anything between 300 to 350 flights a day, both ways. And today that number has come down to 80, 90. So you can do the math and you can assess the number of flights that have to be cancelled because of the situation prevailing. So that takes the total since the beginning of this the situation that is from 28th of February. The total number of flights cancelled by Indian carriers is more than 10,000. So that is the status. Regarding the pressure on the airlines, yeah. So I said on a daily basis, every day about anything between, because routes are not flown every day depending on the network. So 300 to 350 flights per day, both ways, was what Indian carriers used to operate between India and the Gulf region, basically, or this area, including West Asian countries. That has come down to 80/90 flights a day. So that is the remaining are cancelled. So over the period of this slightly over a month now, that number, the total number of flights cancelled is more than 10,000 by Indian carriers. Regarding the pressure on airlines, of course, there's a pressure on airlines specifically from I would say on two fronts. One, 50% of all international operations by Indian carriers used to be to this region, and international flights are a good source of revenue for the airlines. So it has definitely impacted their revenue income, and which obviously then affects the financials of the airline. The second thing, obviously, is the ATF, which I have mentioned. And with the intervention of the government, the ATF pricing for the domestic routes was kept. There was an increase, but it was a very moderate increase, and which the airlines have now calculated it into their, taken it into their calculation, and based on which distance-based surcharge has been, they have started imposing. Some airlines have done it earlier, and other airlines have done it later. But most of the airlines have now put in that surcharge, which is now based on the distance of the flight. So that is basically to try and to cover the difference between the operational cost and the operational cost, to cover up the operational cost basically on due to the increase in ATF pricing. Other measures to support airlines, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, that the Ministry of Civil Aviation is actively working with all stakeholders, exploring all means how we can support the industry, especially the airlines, to bring down the costs, which eventually will be passed on to the passengers. And as I reiterate that the primary aim of the government is to make sure that the passenger convenience. If you look at, because it is still robust, if you look at the number of people traveling, especially in the domestic routes, even just yesterday the number was more than 4,70,000. So on a daily basis, more than 3,300 flights are operating daily, and with very high passenger load factors. So the demand is still there, and that to make sure that the flights remain, this sector remains buoyant, all measures are being explored to support the aviation industry. The last question was on the FDTL period. Yes, it's true that because of these longer flights that had to be taken, the FDTL norms were slightly relaxed for these long haul flights. it will be revisited. The time, we still have some time, and of course, it's an evolving situation, like I mentioned. And as the situation evolves, and uh, s- as we take into consideration what happens in the coming days, this dispensation will be relooked at, and if required, we will take the necessary call at that point of time. It's the end of April, yeah, as of now.
Thank you. Shipping Ministry.
Thank you. So the question was how many ships are there, vessels are there on the western side of Persian Gulf. So as I told yesterday also, 16 total vessels are there. Those are Indian flagged vessels. And as regard to cargo, you will appreciate that these are commercially sensitive information, so difficult for me to provide this. Thank you. That is too commercial information, so it will be difficult. so so आज ये stand. Thank you.
That's okay.
Domestic airspace, the flights are being preponed in Indian domestic sector. Flights are being preponed by about 4 hours. So it's affecting the passenger. Like suppose I have to come from Bombay to Delhi, so I'll not be able to catch my next flight. So how do you how these airlines are just preponing things?
And we'll take the last question, 67, 76. Yes, please.
Hi, this is Amit Bhardwaj from India Today for Ministry of Civil Aviation. So in the last briefing, you had said that after the staggered increase in the ATF 25% that has been allowed, the airlines will be recalibrating their decision, and rightly so, they have recalibrated their decision. They have introduced fuel surcharges. First it was Indigo, now it is Air India, and it's all across. The industry insiders are saying that it's happening because while 25% or the relaxation on ATF has been given for the domestic operations, no such relaxation has been given for the international operations. Hence, they were forced to take this call, and airfare increase or the base airfare increase cannot be denied either. So what are the steps being taken by the MOCA to ensure that the operations in international routes are become slightly better for the operators, for the airlines? Number two, many of these insiders have also cited now the long routes that they are taking. Many of the planes have to be refueled at airports such as Vienna. So is MOCA considering any kind of support system that could be given to the operators on that front? Thank you.
Yeah. So on the first question, I'm not aware of any such thing, but I'm sure the airlines are aware of such, and the seamless movement of passengers is being ensured by them, because once you book a ticket, through ticket, it's ensured that you are able to board the subsequent flight. So that should be taken care of by the airlines. The second point on ATF, yes, like I already mentioned this, that the airfare, the fuel surcharge was announced by some airlines much earlier, some in fact in mid-March itself, considering the fact that the ATF pricing comes into effect on the first day of the month. And anticipating this hike, they had some airlines had put in a surcharge, which they had recalibrated now based on the announcement that was made on the 1st of April. In some cases, the surcharge has gone down, and in some cases, the surcharge increased. But it is distance. It is based on a distance. With regard to international, yes, it's a call that was taken that this ATF pricing would be for domestic routes, and the international routes would not be given this benefit. But the airlines are also working on this, and again I mentioned it is not only the ATF, which though ATF is a significant component of the operational cost, there are others which the ministry is looking at, and how to support the industry is what we are working on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, friends. Thank you, officers. Thank you, everybody.